Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Chate001 bringing you a battle report. As of yet, I'm still undecided on whether or not I'm calling this channel Gaming in the Keats or something else. We'll see, but regardless, I have a battle report, and it is from the Mountain Mayhem ninth, yeah, it's like Mountain Mayhem number 9 tournament in Warrenton, Virginia that I played a couple of weekends ago. Oh gosh, I'm losing track of time. But yeah, it was really great to be back and see a lot of old faces. And yeah, it was really nice. It was a good time, and also meet some new faces. So, yeah, this is a shout out to Wargaming in the Balcony and Gene Phelps for putting on the tournament. Thank you so much for a well organized machine. And with that being said, let's get into my list for the tournament. Alright, so digging into the meat and potatoes of what I'll be playing this time. It's a 5-game tournament, 2 days. And I'm going with a courtesan, the big girl. She's going to be my wizard master on divination with resilient 6 on iron husk. She's immune to divine attacks with brimstone secretions. She even scouts in my deployment zone with darkhide and gives her a cheeky 5-up armor save with chitinous scales. I'm taking a bit of a risk. No miser today. But let's see what the courtesan can do. Next, for style points, we got a Kalima's Deceiver. Just an apprentice here with Guiding Venom Sacs and Piercing Spike. I really like this model. In fact, it's my favorite demon unit. Just because the rules are so silly. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Kalima's Deceiver, know that the Know Thyself rule that it has basically means you get to pick a model part for each model in base contact with the Deceiver's model and add their attacks value to the Deceiver's own attack, which is 1. And it's pretty silly how many attacks you can get with this model. Say if you charge, for example, a Court of the Damned, and you can choose the 8 model part. So 8 attacks on the court alone, from those, like, the spirit host things, plus whatever other models are in base contact with it. So it can get really ridiculous with how many attacks it can have. Strength 5, AP3 here, and yeah. We got a Harbinger on a Pale Horse, Adept of Evo, and Guiding Hot Blood, so giving the unit +2 agility on the charge. 23 Succubi with Chilling Yawn, so -2 agility in base contact. You're seeing a theme here, right? Times 210 Lemures for stiff upper lip. So stiff upper lip, ugh. And so that's the minimized discipline. We got 3 Brazen Beasts with Incendiary Ichor, so flaming attacks, and Aegis against Flaming, 9 Hellhounds with Digestive Vomit, as well as the Bloatflies. So with either of those 2 units win combat, they get +1 strength and AP for the rest of the game. So most likely the Harbinger's going into the Hellhounds, just to make them like a ridiculous missile, but kind of now expensive. This is basically like the cheaper unit of, say, Sirens. They're not light troops, so they're not as maneuverable, but they're just as fast. And then with Guiding Hot Blood, all of a sudden those Hellhounds become Agility 7 on the charge, which is really fun and messes with some elves here. 6 Veil Serpents, just because that's a stupidly cheap unit for 18 wounds and like poison attacks and whatever. And yeah, 5 Furies for Chaff. In due style, my opponent, Dan, he's rocking the Empire of Sonnstahl, and he has a bunch of units. We got an Adept of Alchemy, we got a Prelate, we got 2 Marshals, we got a bunch of heavy infantry with spears, we got 2 support units with halberds, we got 10 Electoral Cav with great weapons, times 2 State Militia, the Irregulars, so they have I think they have the Brace of Pistol. We got 33 Imperial Guard with the Household Standard. Nice, so that's a big, just stubborn bodyguard block there. An arcane engine with its arcane shielding, so it's distracting wagon. 5 riders with pistols, 2x6 Imperial Rangers, so they had the lethal strike against gigantic or towering, and then 2x30 Flagellants. So we got just a lot of bodies on the field, a lot of health points to chew through, and a lot of, well, we got 2 unbreakable units, we got a stubborn leadership 10 unit, so let's see how we get on with that. So the deployment is going to be, as you can see, refused flank, and the secondary will be secure target. So 2 objective points on the field, with 24 inches away from each other, and at least 12 inches away from your deployment zone. Now, seeing this map, I have a pretty good idea of how I want to deploy. And so I definitely want to be the one going first and dictating that deployment. So because my opponent's army is so wide, I'm thinking that I just place my marker like right here, 12 inches away from the deployment zone, and put it right here, and just have like a cute little unit of Lemures just go and hold that objective. And then cover it, say, with like bloatflies or veil serpents or whatever, because my opponent physically won't be able to get to it, because I know at this rate my opponent will probably put something somewhere in the center. So that is my thought process there. So I definitely want to be I want to be able to pick sides on that one. And the idea is I'm picking this side, this diagonal here on the bottom left. Now, I already went through a bit of my thought process there in the deployment. However, while my units do normally outrange, like with my charge ranges, and outmaneuver my opponent's list, refused flank makes it really, really difficult to get around my opponent's flanks, especially with as wide of an army as my opponent has. And the flagellants are really annoying because you get all their attacks even if you kill them. And they're unbreakable. So I definitely, if I want to deal with those flagellant units, which I'm assuming my opponent will put on their flank, I need to combo charge them and make sure I kill them dead, like very, very quickly, if I choose to do that route. My opponent does have more chaff than I do, so they can dictate some of the matchups. However, I do have a couple of flying units, such as the bloatflies and the veil serpents. So yeah, I can, if I spread that chaff out, if I spread that chaff out, I'm trying to hopefully make my opponent make tough decisions on where to dictate, or where to redirect me, is my thought process there. So my goal is to look for combo charges with the flyers, but because my opponent has so many bodies to chew through, I mean, the succubi, they'll certainly rip through whatever they touch, hopefully, especially with the Kalima in there, but at the same time, like, there's only like 23 of them, and so I think they're just eventually going to die if I get them into combat. So I'm thinking I can hold this objective if I can stall and block my opponent's advance with the Lemures. So I'm giving it right now between an 11 to a 13 win to myself. But let's see how it goes. So, as you can see, this is my turn 1, already charging, already moving. Who needs to see the deployment phase, right? But yeah, let's go over it. So, from my left to right, we got a unit of, let's see, where'd it go? There's the pointer. We got a unit of brazen beasts. My friends, Vamps of Maryland, kindly lent me his, oh gosh, what are they called? Winged Reapers. Yes, that's what they are. As conscripts to help me with the Brazen Beasts models here. We got some Veil Serpents right in front of them for some reason. We have Lemures with my opponent's objective. He placed right on top, or he placed his objective here, and so I pushed up with the Lemures here. We got the big unit of Succubi with my Kalima right... Actually, no, there's the Kalima. She's right on the corner. We got some Furies looking out this way just to make sure that if his riders want to come through, they're going to get charged. We got some bloat flies just kind of circling around, making sure everything is in their front, but they can do some cheeky counter charges if they so wish. My second unit of lemures, then I got to place my objective down here, so they're going to be chilling on that objective, and the courtesan is just flying way right. She doesn't actually fly, but she has wings in spirit. So she's going to be going this way to start putting a hurt on some flagellants, or maybe even try and put a magic missile into that distracting wagon there. So from my opponent's left to right, or at least from our view here, he's got a unit of support halberdiers on the far left to distract me. He's got some rangers, then he's got flagellants, then he's got his state militia, the big unit of spears, another unit of support halberds in front of the spears. He's got his imperial guard with his adept right on that corner, and his general right there, his marshal. And his marshal BSB is actually in the spears right there. He's got his second unit of state militia. He's got his riders out in front who vanguarded up a little bit, trying to bait out a charge, perhaps. He's got his distracting wagon right there. He's got his flagellants, the knights who've just received a charge from my hellhounds, because the hellhounds were on the hill, and it was directly across, so that's an 18-inch charge, so a 9 with a reroll, and I decided to say, screw it, let's go. And he's got his second unit of rangers right on that far side. So my thinking here, okay, hear me out. My thinking here is that because this is, they're hellhounds, they're going to hit on 3s, wound on 4s, but they're AP 0. Yes, I do have lethal strike in the unit, but I still think they may, well, we'll see, right? Like, I'm hoping that he'll kill a few of me back, and that with his 18-inch range of his leadership 10 general, that he's going to stick there, and he's blocking his advance of his flagellants. So that's my thinking there, is that, I'll kill maybe the back rank, maybe not, depending on how many armor saves he can make, and it also depends on how many lethal strikes I roll, and I'll actually just focus, instead of buffing my unit, I'll just focus on doing magic missiles right here. So that's my thought process there. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but my apologies. I don't actually have pictures of what either my or my opponent took for our magic. And for those astute watchers, you might notice that we're actually not playing on map B2. The map, I guess, changed last minute, because on New Recruit it stated that we were supposed to be on map B2, but then when my opponent and I set up, it wasn't map B2. So I don't actually know which map this is. But yeah, so as well, my hellhounds just ripped through that unit of knights, no problem. That was a bit, I know I killed them down to maybe 4 models. And yeah, they broke. And I pursued them into the flatulence. So, well, that was something. But you'll also notice that there's no more rangers there, and there's, looks like, 6 or 7 less flagellants. That's because the courtesan did an unerring strike onto the flagellants and killed about 6 or 7, and then did a Fate's Judgment on the Rangers and took them off. So that was good. And I don't have any buffs up on the Hellhounds, so actually, well, is it worth the trade right now? Probably not. And it's my opponent's turn, so that flagellant unit is probably going to hit me back really hard. We'll find out. Okay, so my opponent's turn. My opponent moves up their halberds, baiting a charge, I guess, from my Veil Serpents. I can't remember if actually, you know what, it's possible, looking at this, it's possible that they're actually out of line of sight from the Veil Serpents. So in order for me to charge them with the Brazen Beast, I need to charge the Veil Serpents out of the way into something else, which I'm sure my opponent is, ready to flee in this beautiful space that they have. And then I just fail charge and then just get countercharged by Flagellants, which I don't like. But I'm not sure if the Veil Serpents can actually see the halberds. It's possible that they can. I can't remember at this point, so excuse me, everyone. But some of you may also notice that my opponent's saying, screw your Furies. We're just going to come to the side and start shooting at your Succubi, because that does need to happen. In my opponent's magic phase, they get up Ulr's Blessing and Exemplar's Flame in this combat right here. So oh gosh, is that the 5-up Aegis? I think that's Ulr's Blessing is the 5-up Aegis, but he's also able to get Exemplar's Flame up, so now the Hounds are flammable. It's not great. And of course, because there's a Prelate in that Flagellant unit, those Flagellants have hatred with battle focus. So yeah. Also, there's a flammable on my Succubi for what it's worth. But yeah, let's see how the Hounds survive. And as expected, my Hounds die. Now this is after Crumble, so my Harbinger has 1 wound left. I kill what? Oh, not too many. Yeah. Didn't kill too many Flagellants, so there's still, looks like, is that 7? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Okay. 8, 16, 17, 18, 19. Ugh. So, there's still a healthy number of Flagellants there. Hounds don't do great. They die. And now the Harbinger is just there by herself. Maybe she can take out that Prelate. We'll see. But for now, that was not a good move on my part. Oh well. Okay, so in my round, I have a couple of charges, but not as many as I would like. So first of all, I charge his support unit with my Lemures. The idea being is that I'm within 6 inches, and he's not. And so we're just going to stick here for a while. And that's my plan. Just stick him here, and then it kind of forces him to reform that spear block. Because right now he can't wheel past his own support unit. So that unit is inadvertently chaffed, and hopefully because of this sort of traffic jam right here, it can't really do much. And instead of charging the Succubi, I just push them up so that next turn, if I charge this unit of Irregulars, that it makes my charge and he chooses to flee, right? Then I have a really easy redirect into the Imperial Guard. And now I've done this fight before, with the charging Succubi into Imperial Guard, with the Kolima's Deceiver. And usually the Succubi do end up dying, but the Kolima is able to eventually grind down the entire unit. This has been my experience. But the Succubi do so much damage is that they're still perpetually winning the combat, so they're not the ones who are crumbling. And eventually, I can snipe those characters and just, get rid of the unit. So I'm essentially trading the Succubi for the Imperial Guard, the General, and his Wizard. That's my thinking there. And yeah, my Furies charge his Riders. I'm going to go for it. I think shooting... Oh, this might have been a... wait a second. Oh, yeah, he targeted... with his shooting, he targeted my Furies instead of the Succubi. And he killed one. No, that was the stand and shoot. So yeah, stand and shoot kills a Fury. And he charges the... I charge the Riders. So, let's see if the Furies win. I think it'd be kind of funny. But also, what's more important about that is now I'm locking down a chaff unit here, so I'm happy about that. And then as you can see, I've decided to not charge the flagellants. Actually, the main reason is because my opponent did a very smart reform in that the courtesan could not fit into the flank of the flagellants, because that would put her base off the board, and so that wasn't even a possible charge. So I just had to bring her back around. Not happy about that, but perhaps it's also better that the courtesan doesn't go into the flagellants and stays there for the eternity. And then you can see my Lemure unit just kind of shuffling over to that objective. Blitflies are back on the hill to countercharge stuff. And yeah, I also didn't charge the Veil Serpents. I think my opponent asked me about that after the game, and to be honest, I totally forgot. I mean, I was so focused on this side right here that I literally just forgot to charge them. Yup. So I just moved them this way and just said, like, okay, well, if you're going to charge me with your halberds, I'm actually pretty confident that the Veil Serpents can win that. And then, or if they don't, then they're just going to be there for a turn. The Brazen Beasts can countercharge them, no problem. So that's my thinking there. And so I was able to get Spectral Blaze up on the Succubi just in case something weird happened with his chaff. But right now he can't charge past me in any way with these irregulars, so I've been able to move up and just block him from advancing, essentially. So now he has to expend these irregulars. But my missiles were indeed dispelled and into combat. So first combats you see here, I killed 2 riders. He doesn't kill any furies, but they stick. So the riders are there. Which is pretty cool. And then here, this charge here, so because his halberds are out, I don't have the units in base contact, because we don't want to break our models here, but I killed 2 of him, he kills 2 of me. I have a charge and a banner in this unit. He has 2 ranks, so we push. Yeah, because he doesn't have a banner in this unit. So yeah, we have 2 ranks, and so it's a push combat. So I'm doing exactly what I was planning on here, at least. And as you can imagine, the Harbinger died a sweet and horrible death. So he just reforms his flagellants and comes forward. He chaffs me here in his turn with his irregulars. He moves around and allows space for his flagellants to countercharge and puts his flagellants in the ruins here, so that if I do charge them, I'll potentially take dangerous terrains and everyone's in the front. And so his rangers and his irregulars are going to be shooting at the Brazen Beasts. And in this combat, oh, excuse me. And then, yes, he charged his halberdiers into my Veil Serpents. So I'm like, okay. Let's see what happens there. He is able to get Glory of Gold onto Flagellants. I stop Word of Iron on the Imperial Guard. And the Rangers and the Irregulars put 2 wounds on the Brazen Beasts. So, yeah, they're starting to chip away. And in close combat here, he does nothing to me, and I kill, oh gosh, I kill a fair amount. Looks like 7, but he passes his steadfast, so we're all sticking around for a bit. And then as well, it's another push with the Lemures, or it's also potential that like I lost by 1, like I possibly lost 2 models. And then I lose maybe 1 less from my Greater Dominion from the court because I could be in range. That's a possible outcome, or we're just there for another turn. And yeah, into my turn 3. So Okay, here we go. So the Brazen Beast charge his irregulars. And for whatever damn reason, I redirect into his flagellants. uh, yeah, I did it. I decided to do it. I take a wound from DTs, which probably got a bit lucky there, but he fled his irregulars, and the way that the angle was, it shot him all the way off the board. I moved the courtesan into the flank of the flagellants and also trying to threaten that distracting wagon. I charged the succubi into his irregulars, and in this case, I do have an overrun into his Imperial Guard, and you'll notice that my Furies beat the Riders. I think I killed another two, and then he ran through my court, and I think he just died. And so that allowed my Furies to come and block up his flagellants from charging. The bloatflies go back up on the hill, where it looks like I lost 2 models again. And so we're just chilling. I'm still in range of this objective. He is not. And yeah. As for magic, I get scrying on the succubi. From the Colima, I get an ancestral aid up on the Brazen Beasts. And my opponent stops Spectral Blades, which is very much expected. Yeah, so here's the combat with the Veil Serpents. He's still steadfast, and he sticks. He does 1 wound to me, but on his Leadership 7, he sticks. So, crap. I kind of want them a bit freer now, but hey, they're grinding through them. In this combat, he kills 1 Brazen Beast, and I have 3 wounds on another one. And yeah, I mean, I actually kind of whiff, I feel like. I had rerolls to hit with freaking Battle Focus, and yeah, this looks like a pile of, dead flagellants here, but they need to be more dead. Because they're unbreakable, and they're just going to hit me back anyway, and it's just, crap. So, yeah. I have a feeling that the flagellants are just going to outgrind the Brazen Beast now that I don't have a charge. But I needed to do more there in order to be able to stick around, perhaps. And my opponent's response is that he charges, first of all, he charges his BSB out to add combat resolution into this fight here so that I crumble quicker, especially now that I'm not in greater dominion range. He charges the flank of the succubi now, as I've overrun into the Imperial Guard. And he of course charges the Furies. And yeah, he is able to get a Flaming Swords up on the Imperial Guard, but I do stop Word of Iron. So I think we're just going to freaking murder each other, and we'll see what's left. Oh, and by the way, when I hit the irregulars, I made way with my Colima, so that when I do hit the overrun here, the Colima is touching his general. So I think currently the Colima is gaining, so the Colima will have 6 attacks at the moment. And yeah, I think his goal here is to overrun with the flagellants and to try and get my Lemure unit and get me off the objective. So, here, it's just another push. Good job, Lemures. They're doing their job. So Lemures are holding up the BSB and the support unit, so his spears can't really do anything, which I'm happy about because they can't come in and support this fight here with the succubi, which is why I did the overrun to begin with. So I'm happy about this. The serpents finally kill all the halberdiers, which I'm happy about as well. However, yeah, the brazen beasts definitely eat it. They definitely get killed by the flagellants, and so he reforms to face the center. And in the next combat, yeah, we kill each other pretty intensely here. So I know he rolls really well with his distracting wagon. Yeah, I don't do too much to him. I definitely was hoping to do more. I think I lose the combat, to be honest. And I crumble. This is after crumble. So, I thought this would go a bit better, but I also think I have the wrong spells up for this fight, too. Like, I really need a rerolls to hit, at least. And I have 2 of them in my arsenal here. I know I have Ancestral Aid and Stars Align on the Courtesan. I am wondering here if I actually failed to cast Stars Align on this unit, because it does need an 8, and I think I might have rolled a bit unluckily here. I have a feeling that's probably what happened. But of course my opponent, saves all their dice for Spectral, because that's the one you have to stop. But yeah, so I didn't do well here. And now you can also see that the Distracting Wagon, Arcane Engine, reforms in a way where they're still in my flank, I'm still in his, but he's blocking the charge from the Courtesan into the Imperial Guard unit. Now I can, of course, charge the Arcane Engine and then overrun to the Imperial Guard, but I don't fight twice in that instance. I'd only fight the wagon. I don't think I would fight the Imperial Guard, right? Because, let's see, the Courtesan goes, I don't know. I think both my opponent and I had an understanding that when I charge the wagon, say I do kill it, if I overrun at that point into the Imperial Guard, the Courtesan's already fought in the same combat, so then I wouldn't fight again. That was our understanding of it, so I think this was well played from my opponent's part. So yeah, that blocks me from charging the Imperial Guard. Grr. Alright, my turn 4. Here we go. So I charge the bloatflies into the wagon because this thing needs to die. And I reform my lemures out of line of sight of the flagellants because he did a long enough overrun where I could reform and just back up. I decided to not charge the wagon with my Courtesan. Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't know if this was a mistake or not, to be honest, but I wanted to get behind the Imperial Guard and threaten his rear, and then free up the bloatflies, because hopefully they'll kill the wagon, and then look towards the center to my plan here is to have them fly in and help out the lemures and take him off the objective because I'm starting to see that, okay, I am getting ground down. It's possible that I don't actually get this objective and he might be able to get it with this unit, so I'm hoping to free up the bloatflies and bring them into this unit here, but I still need to get rid of this wagon, so that's what I'm thinking there. And I also want to be threatening the spears, and just having the Courtesan in your rear is just not fun. So now the Brazen Beasts are dead. Instead of charging the Rangers, I'm now bringing my Veil Serpents back over this way to support my center. Again, because I'm starting to realize, okay, he probably can push me off the objective here, and I need to have something threatening the center so I can stop him from scoring it. And I know that, now that the bloatfly or the Veil Serpents are here, I can hopefully eat this unit and have the spears do nothing, or have the spears be facing the other way to be concerned about the Courtesan. So that's my thought process here. Okay, so in my opponent's magic my magic phase, my opponent, of course, stops Spectral Blades on the Succubi, so I do get an Ancestral Aid on them, and I get Stars Align on the Bloatflies because I just need to make sure that this thing dies. And yeah, here we are, 3 Lemures left. Oh man, they're, I'm happy about that. I'm very happy about that. They're doing their job. And you will also see in this combat that the Bloatflies do kill the wagon and face into the center. And the Succubi do lose a fair amount of models. I do kill a fair amount back. I've been choosing with the Kalima. I've been choosing to attack the unit. I'm curious if I've been making a mistake. I feel like I have. I feel like I could have just tried to snipe his general, like turn 1, or the first time I was in combat with him. His general has a 1-up, 5-up, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I can double check that, of course. But yeah, I think he has a 1-up, 5-up, or maybe just has a 1-up. Either way, I was putting attacks into the unit to try and kill Imperial Guard and grind them down quicker. And also, I wasn't putting any attacks onto his wizard, and I'd just been trying to ground down the unit, and yeah, I don't think that was the right call. I don't know. But that's what I've been doing. So we got 4 Succubi left in the Kulima. Yeah. But, hey, right now, his spears are facing this way. They can't charge or do anything. The Lemures are just holding the halberds up, so Bloatflies are ready to support, so I'm happy here. And yeah, here's just another picture of that combat. It's slightly out of order, but as you know, the Bloatflies kill the wagon, activates their digestive vomit, and they look center. And yeah, I have 4 models left here, and you have the courtesan just threatening the Imperial Guard. Okay, so he reforms on his turn 4. He reforms the flagellants, right? He reforms the flagellants to charge my Lemures next turn. And now he reforms the spears to face this combat here, in which it just puts the courtesan in their front. So, now this is critical. This magic phase is critical. In my opponent's magic phase, I save all my dice to stop Word of Iron, because this is crucial. And so it's 5 dice, and he has 4 dice, and he dices me on it. Oh, crap. Oh, no. So this is the boosted Word of Iron, of course, so now these Imperial Guard have a 1-up armor save. My unit is, of course, flammable. And now I'm probably going to lose the Succubi plus the Kalima, unless maybe I can snipe that general. So, here we go. And yeah. So, from left to right, he finally grinds down the Lemures. And as you might have expected, he ground down my entire unit. So I put all my attacks from the Kalima onto his general. 6 hits. 6 wounds. And he has a 4-up armor save here. And he freaking makes all of his saves. Ah! Damn it. No. So that pops the Kalima just, like, literally to the health point. Because I don't do anything back to him. He does 4 to me. Oh my god. Crap. So what he does is he reforms his Imperial Guard so that the Bloatflies and the courtesan are in his front. Which makes for an interesting charge situation in the next slide. Alright, so my turn 5. And at this point, neither myself nor my opponent knew that that this is actually going to be like the last turn period. So I think had both of us had known that, we probably would have done some things differently here. What here's the order of the sequence. Yeah, the order sequence. So the first thing I do is I charge the bloatflies into his halberds. He flees. So then I redirect the bloatflies into his Imperial Guard. My thinking here was that if I redirect into the BSB, he's also going to flee, which could cause a problem here with my Veil Serpents. I don't know. I thought too long about this, to be honest. So I also appreciate my opponent's patience here with this turn, because there's a lot going on here. So I was worried about this flee here with his BSB. So instead I decided to redirect the bloatflies into the Imperial Guard, and then I asked my opponent, okay, does it become what happens now if I charge the courtesan in? And we had to call the ref to see what would happen, right? If you charged both the courtesan and the bloatflies in, what happens? And so depending on the maximization here, because there's this impassable here, one of us is going to have to close the door to the other, which will actually make it an impossible charge for either one of these units, depending on which one you maximize first. So if I maximize with the bloatflies first, it becomes a failed charge for the courtesan. If I maximize with the courtesan first, it becomes a failed charge with the bloatflies, because of how the impassable is situated and because of the closing the door situation. But I didn't declare the courtesan charge before this. My opponent and I talked it out before I actually declared this charge. So after discussing it with the ref, I just decided, okay, screw it. I've taken up a lot of time here. This has taken up a lot of time. I just need to charge. I'm just going to charge the spears. Let's go. I need to maybe just stick this unit here and stop them from getting within 6 inches of this objective. And so what ends up happening is the Veil Serpents catch the halberds, and so I hit any point, and then I do a reform here to face the spears. So BSB just got away. He's just chilling in the field, and the bloatflies go into the Imperial Guard, which do not currently have flaming attacks. So also another reason why I did that. So that being said, I get up a few spells onto the Veil Serpents. At this point, it's kind of inconsequential. And then with the bloatflies. And then what I do with the bloatflies is I just snipe the wizard, so he can't cast any sort of flaming attacks onto this unit next turn. So that's what I do. However, disclaimer, this turn ends up being the last turn that we actually play, like this round. So we don't get to my opponent's turn 5, and instead what is decided is that whatever happened in this turn 5 is inconsequential, doesn't count, and so basically we count whatever happened at the bottom of 4. So this means a couple of things. It means, first of all, I don't get the wizard, and I don't get the halberds. So, darn. However, it also means that my opponent doesn't have a chance to charge my lemures, or doesn't have a chance to do anything to get to the objective. So I think both of us, honestly, probably wanted to see how this game would have played out. Had we had gotten at least one more turn in, or just, obviously to the end of the game, because ideally you want to be finishing your games. So both myself and my opponent were kind of, we were a bit bummed about that, just because, he loses the objective, but I lose, all those points that I just gotten. So No. And you'll see what that ends up doing to our score. And at the end of the day, it ends up becoming a 9-11 victory to the Demon Legions, mainly because at that point I still had the objective. However, my opponent had gotten more units than I did. So it was a 12-8 to them, but I got the objective, so it's an 11-9 to me. As you can see, I lost my Kalima, the Harbinger, the Succubi, the Lemures, the Brazen Beast, Hounds, and the Furies, and then my opponent lost only one unit of heavy infantry, his Knights, the Rangers, both units of Militia, and the Riders. So, yeah, honestly, like, post-game thoughts, I would have been really curious to see what would have happened at the, but this is also, I think this is my first in-person game back in, like, 4 months, so... no, excuse me, it's my second. And, yeah, like, I think both myself and my opponent thought we were good on time, and we didn't manage it well, so that's, yeah. I know that's something I can, of course, get better at, is time management there. And then, yeah, looking back at this game, it's like seeing the mistakes, like making the mistakes with charging the flagellants. Just don't do that. Not with, like, the size of my units and how if I don't kill enough, like, they're just going to wreck my units. Or it doesn't even matter. Like, even if I kill the whole damn unit, like, I still get 30 attacks back on me, with some of them with hatred and battle focus, and the others just with battle focus. So yeah, that's not ideal there. So it's on me. I also forgot to charge the serpents into the halberds, so that's again on me. Shaking off some rust here, I promise. And then, yeah, not being able to stop the Word of Iron on the Imperial Guard, like, really, that was pretty critical. Because I was chewing through them. I mean, yeah, he was chewing through me, but it just meant that, like, it didn't really help my cause there. But I'm sure like, I don't doubt that the Succubi would have been ground down, but I think it would have saved my Kolima. And then I personally think that I probably just should have charged the court into the wagon and overran into the flank of the Imperial Guard anyway. Like, because now I have two characters to be able to take any challenge I want, and then I think at that rate I get the Imperial Guard and grind them down in future turns. Like, I think that's fine. So yeah, that was just a missed opportunity there. But yep, that's how it stands. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Dan, for an awesome game. I really had a blast playing this game, especially with your army. I mean, it's just fantastically painted. Go check out my opponent's YouTube channel, Dan. I'll put a link in the description below. Assuming my opponent also makes a battle report on this report, I'd be really curious to hear. I'd be curious to hear your perspective on how the game went. And yeah, no, I just had a fun time. I'm hoping to be able to get up to Pennsylvania and play more with the Green Dragons crew now that I'm back in the United States, and hopefully get some more battle reports with that group, as well as the Titans of Ninth. And yeah, so we're starting off this tournament with a small victory. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. Like and subscribe if you are feeling sassy. And yeah, ciao for now, y'all.